Good. All right. How's everybody doing? Good? All right. What do you got? Yeah. Yeah, someone we spent a lot of time on coming out for the draft. Big, long linebacker with real athletic skill set. Just a good job of reading zone coverage. Great story as far as he's concerned. His travel through college and then obviously getting to Dallas. Real good run player, is fast enough to kind of fill and get downhill. And then, like I said, is a good enough space player with his length, which is kind of unusual, to be that long and athletic like that, to be able to eat up that much space in a lot of the zone schemes that they do, which they'll run a lot of those different types of coverages, whether it's 3 deep or 2 deep. And then some of the man coverages that he's going to have to do also. So pretty good, pretty unique skill set for a player like that. And you really can see his development for him and for him to kind of step right in and play well, was obviously an attribute to him.
Maybe piggyback off Chris's question, though, but what do they lose in not having Sean Lee, a guy who seems like a pretty cerebral type player on the defense side of the ball?
Well, Sean Lee's been a great player for a number of years in this league, and somebody that, again, coming out, spent a lot of time with him also, and just very smart, work hard, studies the game, obviously a leader out on the field, can handle a lot of different situations. Sometimes that linebacker position, you have a lot of different adjustments that you have to make. There's a lot of awareness and things like that you have to communicate. And he obviously is a guy that's been doing that at a high level for a long time. I think, Sean Lee being who he is, he's in the meetings. He's helping Van Der Esch. He's helping that unit right now really prepare to get ready to go. Jalen Smith's another guy that has really kind of come on along with that linebacker crew also. He's playing at a high level. You see on tape a lot of plays where he takes on blockers. He still has a lot of strength to do that and then fall off and make the plays. So I think that's a really talented group of players in at the linebacker position.
Matt, statistically, you guys lead the league in pass defense, but are last in run defense. Which of those two is the real stat?
The real stat is, wins and losses. That's really the bottom line. So, we obviously got to do a lot better than what we've been doing defensively and get all that, straightened out from that standpoint. So, we got a big challenge in front of us with this unit, and obviously the run game, just going off of what you said, is going to be a big problem for us. I think, the quarterback obviously is a big part of this. I would say that, also, the running back, Ezekiel Elliott, he's phenomenal. This guy's big, he's strong, he's got great balance, he's athletic. He can run powerful, he'll attack the tacklers as they're coming to get him. He's going to take it to him, whether it's a stiff arm or just lowering the shoulder. Great vision. He can take the ball, start at front side, come back out the other way, and just is such a dynamic player in that accord. It's very hard to defend. They do some great things scheme-wise. They'll divide the defense a little bit, get them out on the edge, also run them downhill in some different, whether it's fullback lead plays or just kind of the one-back power play. They do a good job with them there. So that you put that on top of, the quarterback with Dak Prescott and his ability to run kind of the read option, all right, which is an element that sometimes you see and sometimes you don't. But when they do run it and they run it effectively, their win percentage just goes way up. So it's kind of a dual threat there to kind of handle in the run game. So that'll be a big challenge for us this week. Obviously, give the credit to their offensive line. Those are the guys that make that thing go, and they have, some of the best guys in the league doing it. So that'll be important for us this weekend.
Matt, what level of concern is there that Ziggy might be out for a while? Because he's a guy that's had a lot of injuries in the past. And he's 2 weeks ago he said he was going to be optimistic that he was going to play, and now he hasn't. He hasn't been on the field since week 1. So, what level of concern is there from you that you might not have?
Oh my God! Apologies, Coach.
Yeah. All right. Look, as far as I'm concerned, we're just like whoever's out there and ready to go, we're ready to go. It doesn't really matter for us. So week in, week out, if the guys are healthy and they can go out there and help us win, that's what they're going to do. And the guys that aren't, they're trying to get better every single day to be out there and help us. So that's what you got to focus on. Don't make it any bigger than that. We got to make sure that we're preparing the guys that need to help us play at the highest level, and those guys that can go out. Sometimes it's pretty much day to day, and that's what it is for us. It's day to day to see what guys can go out there and help us. So Ziggy's great. He's working extremely hard. He's doing everything we're asking him to do, and I have the utmost respect for his work ethic and what he's trying to do to help us, and even all those situations. But so is everybody. Everybody's got to be ready to go, whether you're active or inactive, or you're out there for a play and you get hurt, or someone else has got to step in. It doesn't matter. It's about team football, team defense, and that's our focus.
So what would you need to see from Ziggy for him to be out there?
I mean, I think those are medical questions that I'm not really going to get into with you. I mean, I think he's trying every single day to get better.
What kind of a track was O'Hara on to play as many snaps as he did as late as he joined the team? And really, I think he played 40 of the 50-some snaps, whatever it was.
Sure. I mean, he obviously played a lot, too, before we got him, so it wasn't a situation where he wasn't kind of in football shape or anything like that. So it was just really a question of him being able to come in and step into a role and kind of master that role as fast as possible. It was on us kind of to make sure we gave him something that he could handle from that standpoint as he's still learning our system and kind of learning some of the terminology, which he's done a good job. And in some of those situations where he might be out there for an extended play, like the same thing with Eli Harold, and there's different packages that we run, there's different situations that come up in the game, and that might cause a player to be out there for more snaps than not, and sometimes it's situationally based more than anything.
Coach, how important is it to keep an eye on a guy like Cole Beasley in that short passing game that they have?
Absolutely. I mean, he is a dynamic player in the slot. He's obviously a go-to guy for him. Does a great job on those routes, the possession-type routes that he runs. Just a dynamic player in those situations. They have some really, Austin's another guy they picked up that's a problem, from a standpoint of trying to defend his speed, his athleticism. He'll also be in the slot position. They'll mix him in there, too, in some of those personnel groups. So definitely, some really difficult players to defend in the inside part of the field. Absolutely.
Do you look at the Seattle game as maybe like a little bit of a blueprint here?
I think that word blueprint gets thrown out there quite a bit, and I think it's difficult because everybody's different. I think there's certain things you look at teams that you try to, say, hey, did they handle that well or did they not? And does it fit what you do or does it not? And your players, certainly everybody has different players too and different schemes. So, you try to watch all the games. You find stuff they do really well and stuff that maybe teams did against them that caused them problems. And, you analyze it, see if you can use it or not. And sometimes it's just other guys on other teams making really good plays. Sometimes they just had a really good game in that aspect and they were able to execute well. So we're just going to try to go out and, do everything we can do to win and obviously try to put a good game plan together and go out and execute it and coach it well and play it well. And like I said, it's going to be a big challenge for us to do that.
What was the one, when you go looking back at the draft, what was the one thing you saw out of Carry-On that you were like, yeah, I want that guy maybe over some of the other backs?
I mean, I think I've addressed Carry-On enough. I think I'm all about the Cowboys right now. So, I mean, hopefully we can just go out and execute well this weekend.
How tough is it to defend a quarterback who even if he's struggling throwing the ball, he can still run and create problems that way?
Yeah, it is. It's really difficult to do. And, I've gone against a number of quarterbacks that have that kind of athletic ability. And I call it that ability to kind of create after the play breaks down. And when those plays break down, one of the biggest things that makes this team so dangerous is really the speed of their skill players. I mean, these guys all run 4.3, 4.4, 4.2. So now a play breaks down, and Dak Prescott has such a strong arm that any of those guys go vertical. If we miss a step or our eye control goes, isn't disciplined enough, those guys are behind us, and that becomes a huge play. So it's just those breakdown type of plays that really become very difficult to defend, and you got to prevent them from starting if you can.
And you obviously were a defensive coordinator the last few years. How much sharing went on with other defensive coordinators in the league, and how well do you know Rod Marinelli? I mean, is that something that you guys ever got around and
I don't really know Rod at all very well. I mean, obviously I have the utmost respect for him and everything that he's done, and he's coached at a high level for a long time, a lot longer than I have. So you respect those guys. But I mean, that whole staff, I mean, those guys work extremely hard. Scott Linehan, like I said, Jason Garrett, even Chris Richard, who came over from Seattle. I mean, all those guys do a great job. So we got to work cut out for us. They're obviously going to dial up a pretty good game plan against us, and we're going to have to go out and try to execute at a high level.
One more question. Forced many turnovers this year, only 2, but their points per game is outstanding. What do they do so well as a unit that keeps opponents out of the end zone? Yeah, I mean, they're definitely a defense that will they'll load the box. They'll be down in there. They'll try to take away the run game. They do a good job with their zone coverages.
behind it to make sure there are those lack of big plays, if you will, that get behind them. They'll mix in the man coverage concepts when it's appropriate, and they do a good job with those. They have, big, long corners, so which is kind of a staple of a little bit of that scheme. Make it very difficult to throw over, and they have some good safeties and obviously fast linebackers. I would say they just have a good combination of defense. The front, the aggressiveness of the front. They get off. They have good pass rushers up there, and then just with the speed behind it, I think it makes it really difficult from a timing standpoint. You're not going to be able to hold the ball very long. You're not going to be able to run the ball at any great length. So it turns into that kind of one-dimensional game, and especially when you get down to the red area with the size and the length that they have, it becomes real difficult to either get the ball over the top of them or try to find space in those underneath zones. Okay, appreciate it.